Welcome back to the podcast. I am Fallon Jordan, and I'm so excited and delighted to have my friend and colleague, Julisa Cully, here. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited to get to talk to you again and to be able to do this podcast.
Me too. And our meet cute was just like very synchronistic. I was listening to some people that I love on a podcast. And I kept hearing, like, you just need to have a reading with someone that, like, you've never met before. And, like, that person's just going to, like, show up. And then moments later, like, you just popped in to my reality and you were the second person that I told about my move to Hawaii and you helped me navigate that. So you're just a beautiful, pivotal person in my journey right now. And I just wanted to let people know how special you are to me.
Uh, well, that means a lot to me. And yeah, I'm a firm believer that if you open yourself up and are receptive, the right people and the right circumstances are put in front of you so that you can continue on your journey. So I'm just honored that I'm part of your journey.
Thank you. And so if you, I do have her full bio below, but Janisa is a spiritual advisor. She is a certified angel communicator. And just the way that you navigate your spiritual gifts is so beautiful. So I would love to hear when you started feeling like your gifts were turning on and then your journey to today, where, I mean, you're just very, very clear. And I love that. And I definitely need that in my life. And I'm sure a lot of people listening feel the same way. So
Um, well, thank you. It's been an ongoing, I've really started doing this just the last 3 years. So it's a relatively new that I'm professionally doing this and putting this out to the world and, kind of like, hey, I'm here.
yeah.
But really kind of starting this path. Well, first of all, I mean, I think really I was getting visions and information when I was young, but you don't really understand what that is. And then, you slowly kind of grow out of it. But I would say since early 2000s, I started getting this feeling of this is like my spiritual and my professional are meant to cross, but I didn't know how that was supposed to be.
Mhm.
And I kept on trying to kind of find guidance and I was it wasn't very clear for me. And I think part of the reason is because I really had to learn a lot of different things before I was ready to be able to do this. And so, for example, in 2004, I got certified as a Reiki healer. And so I was doing that mostly volunteer. They used to be the center where I trained monthly. They used to have a full Saturday where you would just go in and volunteer your time and do healing for people. And
Yeah.
so I would do it that way. I would, read about mediumship. I took courses on numerology and oracle reading and tarot. And so all those things until like I found, and I kept on feeling I'm going to know when I'm ready and the teacher will present themselves. And I met Kourtney Levens. I actually, same with you. I was looking for some guidance. Her name popped up. I did a reading with her and she was just starting her angel school. And I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And since then, my gifts have just really expanded tremendously. So I am very blessed that way.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And that program from Kourtney is absolutely life-changing, amazing. And I will remind myself to put a note below, but I also have the link to it in my Instagram bio for those of you who are listening if you're interested. Um, because I talk about God angel guides like whenever I'm like bringing and calling them in to do things with me and to co-create with my clients, like always say God angel guides. And I think for me, learning from you and Kourtney and other people who were in that like very specific realm, it's just so cool to like get to know the angels by name, like get to know what their colors are, get to know the signs and synchronicities that they are always bringing to you. And I'm sure most people listening, the to me, the most common is Archangel Michael. And like the little man is busy cutting cords for me lately. I don't know about anybody else, but it's just so cool that they're there to support us. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been learning recently and, wanting to talk about. And I would love to hear your opinion is that like they're always ready to help us and there's no such thing as asking for too much. It's just if something's not in our alignment, And if I'm like, I want like the man of my dreams to appear on my doorstep in 10 minutes, like that might not be in my highest alignment. So it's not going to happen. But if I say, God, angel guides, like, please clear anything that's holding me back from my divine life partner coming in at the perfect time that they are meant to, that's very different. And so I just wanted to share that, like, it's not about like using them or being greedy. Like, they are there to serve us, but we have to understand that they're going to do what's in our highest alignment.
Exactly. And you said it perfectly. And so when you come to them, first of all, they are there with us every single day. And there's a couple key players. Oftentimes people call them the guardian angels, and they're with you from the moment you first take a breath of air in this life to the time that we pass on. And then there are those that, kind of get pulled in because you're going through different things. You may be going through a promotion and you need a little bit boost of confidence. And so they're there to really kind of like fill your soul with like, I can do this. Or they may be there because you're experiencing a struggle, a death, a divorce, and so you really need that extra love and compassion. The one thing that they have repeatedly said is they are there to kind of send that subtle energy, but in terms of guidance and interference, they will not interfere unless we ask them to help us, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's when they called in. And how you phrase it, yeah, you can ask for something, and that's because right now you're looking at it and it's shiny and sparkly, because I am one of those that kind of chases that. It doesn't mean that it's my highest good. And
Yeah,
so learning to kind of put it like whatever's in my highest good in divine timing, right? Because something maybe you need to, so maybe if I met the man of my dreams today, well, if I'm not ready and I haven't learned my lessons, it will probably be not as harmonious as it can be, and
right.
potentially not last, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of trusting that it will come to you when it needs to, but you have to be able to kind of trust and put the ask out there. And you're right, there is no ask too big. And I will also say the flip side, there is no ask too small. I mean, I often call Archangel Chamuel, he's the archangel of finding. And so in terms of like pathway, I call him, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I just lost my keys. Like, I need to get out of here. Like, where are my keys? And then just kind of like tuning into him, and he'll kind of point me in the right direction. It's like, oh my God, why did I put him there? And so, I'm able to kind of go with my day. So no ass too small or too big.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely manifest good parking spots easily, and it's something that like I never consciously do, but
Yeah.
like I think of all the times that I really needed a good parking spot. I remember I worked at a very nice restaurant, but it was next to a mall, and so I shared that parking lot. And
Mhm.
finding if it was a busy shopping day, like it could wreck me being late, and being late at this
Yeah.
restaurant was not good. So I think I just kind of like started working with that angel and like
Yeah.
got that to stick.
Intuitively, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing is sometimes we don't specifically ask for something. We're just kind of like, oh, it'd be cool if like this happened. And because we didn't set a massive intention and we weren't attached to the outcome, like it was actually more likely to happen. So I think that that's one of the cool things about spinning on this giant planet as a human.
Definitely, definitely. And you're right. It's the oftentimes I have people come to me for readings and they're like, I've been putting the intentions out there and yet it's not happening. Well, one, it may not be timing yet, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we spoke about that. But there's one thing about setting the intention and then letting go, and setting the intention and then obsessing about it every day.
Yeah,
If you're obsessing about it, then you're not really letting go, right? And so then God, the universe, however you really see source kind of coming to you, they're not able to do their job. And so you have to kind of let it go because you're kind of putting stipulations on it. And so it's like it's going to come when it's going to come. And it's probably going to come to you better than you imagined it if you allow it to.
100%. And collective wise, I've been feeling that a lot of us are at that literally tiny last step of like a big manifestation coming in. Are you seeing that as well?
I am. What I'm feeling for this year in particular, but really kind of moving forward, for those that have done the work, those that are really truly tuned in, I do see the manifestation, the opening of doors. Um, that being said, I also feel that Because I think right now we're at a point where they really want to raise all of our consciousness, which is I think
Hmm.
why there's so many of us that are what, are often referred to as light workers right now,
Yeah,
out there to help bring everyone forward. I think for those that are not truly connected, they're not going to see things just fall into place the way they have in the past, maybe, because they're being kind of called like you have to tap into the light to be able to do that. But I
hmm,
think for the majority of us, and especially those of us that are really kind of tuned in, it is a time of really manifesting and being able to kind of propel ourselves forward spiritually, financially, physically, just whatever you want, really being able to attain it.
100%. And again, like for me and some of the people in my community, it feels like some of those final like energetic tentacles, which could be a person or a place or even just like your wardrobe or like a few objects in your space. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in the process of letting things go, and it's a time of like grief and pain and kind of, for me it's frustration, right? It's like, man, like I've been helping you, like you're not getting it, why aren't you getting it, like you
Yeah.
have this big mission, like please do it. But I think that's part of our journeys too, and it's so funny when you said the word light worker, my ring light like shook
Yeah.
for like no explainable reason.
Well, because you were a light worker, and so it was kind of confirmation for you, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have the biggest ring light on the planet and I love it. So also collectively, what else do you feel like we are, especially March? Like I feel like March is such a big month because, we have the new moon in Pisces coming, and then we have the eclipse and then Mercury retrograde. Like I actually like love that because I think it's a good excuse to let things go that are no longer serving us. And I think I'm able to cut things and situations out faster than most people, which can be, a blessing and a curse. But I'm really excited about this month and I have like super, super good vibes about this month. Did you see anything specific for March coming in?
Yeah, yeah. So with you that energy, and like I said, it started with beginning of the year, but I feel like March going into the eclipse in particular, um, really that feeling of letting go of anything that no longer serves us. And along with that, clarity, I feel like
Mm,
kind of metaphorically, right? But like with the eclipse, there's going to be clarity of what is it that you really need and what does your soul really desire, right? As opposed to, again, chasing after the shiny things. And so I think there's going to be that kind of spiritual aha moment for a lot of us. And that's what I really kind of see with all the alignment right now. It's going to be that it's almost like this light shining. It's like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize, which is really exciting and just, like, oh my God. So I think for a lot of us, it's going to be that next step in our journeys because all of a sudden the pathway is going to be cleared and we're like, oh, there's the next step. Like it looked like it was all moss and, shrubbery and it's like, oh, there's an actual cobblestone. Okay. That's where I'm going. So
I love that. And I love cobblestone. So pretty.
you just
The
love everything. You just have this energy of like embracing just everything beautiful in life. And that's one of your gifts, right? So yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Portland, Maine is where I grew up in the downtown, like very intense, like very, very old cobblestone. And so like when I like see like shows or movies that are in Europe and I see the cobblestone, like I'm just like, oh, that like totally reminds me of Portland. But this wall behind me, if you guys are watching on YouTube, is I just love this retaining wall. Like it just like makes me so happy.
It is. It kind of reminds me a little, I mean, but a little bit, and just kind of looking at it when I was in Israel. And there's that
Ooh.
Great Wall, right? And so there's the wall
Yeah.
behind it. And then you go in and I went there, oh God, what it was like 7 years ago. And on the plane trip, I was spending a lot of time just kind of, praying and meditating and what I wanted to get out of this trip. And I had my little wad of like 4 pages of like prayers and asks for God, right? Like I wanted to bless everyone in my life. And so I had to like the power of writing. And so I literally had this like folded up, it was this big. And the wall kind of had that look
Mm-hmm.
behind you. And so when I got there, I mean, the energy in the city was just, wow, it just filled your heart. and I go to the wall and, I say my last prayer and I'm trying to find somewhere where I can kind of wedge it in. And I kid you not, I have a photograph. A white dove landed like a couple stones above it. And it was just, to me, it was like,
Wow.
okay, confirmation, you're taking care of all my loved ones. So
Oh,
yeah.
that is so amazing. Yeah, I had a friend put a wish in there for me, which is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And I don't know, but yeah, when you were saying and pointing out the wall, that's the memory that came to mind. So
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list of places to go. I've just heard such amazing things.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a pilgrimage site, and you will feel the energy in the air.
Hmm.
Just yeah.
I love that. So, is there anything else coming down the pike for April, May, June that you want to share for the collective?
Um, so along with the clarity, I feel that for all of us, there's going to be what we're being asked to do is really also focus on ourselves.
Mm,
So because we're going to need to be at a higher vibration moving forward, the ask is really focusing ourselves both internally, being able to kind of do that work, the final, I feel like for a lot of us is that final kind of piece of getting us to the next level. So
hmm.
as you were saying, clearing some of those blockages, um, but also taking care of our physical bodies so that we are able to kind of raise our vibrations. So being much more mindful, and not in the traditional sense of, I'm on a diet and I'm going to watch on it, but more like, is this really nourishing my body and helping me at a cellular level to be able to get there? And so right now I feel like between now and July, August, they're asking us to really kind of go internally, both spiritually, but also physically, really taking care
Mm,
of our energetic field. So that would be the other thing um, for people to be mindful of.
I love that. Yeah. And someone was talking about stretching the other day, and they're like, if you're trying to stretch yourself and you're trying to stretch your money, like you need to stretch your body. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And then last night during a energy healing session, I was like, I need to do something body-ish that I haven't done before, which is Tai Chi. And so I'm going to start doing that. And I'm like super excited about it
Oh,
because it's
very
something
cool.
new, right? And it's nourishing. And again, it's not just like immediately going to like the diet exercise stuff. Like there's so many other things that we can do to take care of our body, and like, even like massage or lymphatic drainage by like, hopping on a trampoline. Like there's just a lot where we can kind of let things in our body that aren't supposed to be there, like just kind of leave to make space for the things that we want.
Exactly. And that's true for everything else, but in particular our bodies. I mean, for a lot of us, when we just feel overwhelmed, and yes, we have a lot on our plates because we've decided as the Western society that we're going to do everything all at once and, and,
Yeah.
and kind of driven that way. But a lot of times, so for myself, when I do readings, because you do get to that kind of high vibration, your energy really accumulates. And so in between readings, oftentimes I live on on the third floor actually. And so even just running up and down the stairs a few times to kind of release some of that energy, right?
Yeah.
Because pulling in the energy is a good thing because it helps you raise your vibration, but you accumulate too much of that energy, then it just gets clogged up and it doesn't help you kind of. And so it's really that release. And I love that, that what they told you about, stretching, and it's stretching your body because you want to be able to stretch your energy. And yes, a lot of times when we feel things, when you feel aches, people come for readings and they'll be like, I've been feeling a lot of digestive issues, or I've been feeling, aches in my legs, or, they're at the point where it's chronic and they have to have surgery. And it's all accumulation of energy, accumulation of fear. And so oftentimes that's the messages that they're getting. It doesn't mean, don't continue with their medical provider, but like to really address it, you got to address the core issue, which is you're holding on to this energy that doesn't serve you. So,
Yeah, 100%. I am a couple months ago, I went through this phase where like everyone was coming to me for energy healing for specifically aches and pains. And I was excited because I was like, oh, no one usually comes to me for that, but like obviously, why not?
yeah.
And it was just so interesting. I mean, just like the messages that I was getting for them through spirit, but then also like the oracle cards, like they were just exactly like why this was being stored in their body. And it's just so cool to see. I mean, some of them were on the verge of getting surgery, and I haven't heard from them, which is good. Thanks. I told them only reach out to me if you need help pre and post surgery. But it's just so cool to think of how precious our bodies are and how they're always just trying to protect us. But like sometimes that protection is fear that isn't something that we need. And so I'm just very grateful for you and everyone out there who's helping people heal in this way, because, there are a lot of people who love nothing more than cutting people open, and surgeries always just grossed me out since I was a little girl. Like, so gross.
Yeah, I mean, it's never, our angels are never there to tell us don't proceed with,
Yeah,
the traditional medical care, but they're here to help us. And if we can alleviate it so that we don't have to go through that, then obviously they want to be able to do that for us. So yeah, so that's the other energy that I'm really feeling, is that with that clarity, we need to get our bodies and our energy at a level where we'll be able to kind of see that, right? And
yeah,
so it is taking care of our bodies, it's moving, it's being more conscious of what we're eating. Like, is this really natural and good for our bodies, or is it going to be one more thing that's kind of clogging that energy? So
for sure. I love that. So, do you have any exciting offers right now?
I do. So for our guests today, typically my half hour readings are $200, but I want to put out an offer for $127.
Oh,
And also, in addition, going to share with you guys, if you reach out to me through your link, we have a nighttime clearing. Speaking of clearing the energy, it's a nighttime clearing meditation. And so typically $99 worth meditation that we want to give to you guys. So just thank you for
wow.
being here
That
today.
is amazing. Thank you so much. And the nighttime clearing is so perfect because the last 2 nights I've made like my nighttime energy healing practice like 4 times longer than usual, just because I
Yeah.
just felt like I needed that support. I've had like the 2 best nights sleep and the 2 best nights of dreams. Last night I dreamt that I was married to Justin Siegel. So
Oh, there you go. And of course, he's symbolic of the man that's coming your way.
I know. I'm like, oh, he's always been my number one, other than Larry David. But well, that is so generous. And I will put those links below for everybody. And I can tell you that, like, I mean, having a reading with Julisa really is life changing. I mean, she really helped me. I mean, it had only been a few hours since I was like 100% like I'm gonna move to Hawaii. I need to figure out what the fuck this looks like because I don't know what I'm gonna do. And just because moving with an animal to Hawaii is a very big deal if nobody's aware of that. It's like a 2 to 3 month process in itself, and the government needs your animal's blood. But you just brought everything into like to clear picture for me, and just I mean, there's just so many different islands in Hawaii. So the fact that like I know now exactly like where I'm meant to go and like the purpose of me being there. And again, just most importantly, like just washing away all of that anxiety, which I think was just excitement, but I really wanted like clarity. And you brought that so quickly and effortlessly. And I'm just very, very grateful.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to get the information that you needed. And I'm so excited for this upcoming move, because I really see it opening a lot of doors for you. And through you, it's going to open opportunities for a lot of individuals as they come work with you. So
Thank you. I'm so grateful. Is there anything else you wanted to say in closing?
I just want to say that, whatever your beliefs, we all know we have that kind of the voice inside of us.
Mhm.
And so really take the time every day, even if it's 5 minutes. I know we're all busy, but take the time to just connect and really trust it. And the more you do, the more clarity that you will get.
I love that. That is so beautiful and perfect. Thank you so much for your time and your loving energy. I'm just so grateful for you.
Thank you. Great to see you again.
Great to see you too. And I will see everybody on the next episode. Bye for now.